Good morning. It's me, Pearl, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies inside of ourselves. Understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to see change, we have to make change within ourselves. And we do that here by taking a look and seeing where we are and then shifting to where we want to be. When I shuffled it this morning, we got a lot of music that was so relevant that I'm actually remembering to mention it today. And we got the first song up was by the Police, and it was called Secret Journey. And this came up during the Divine Masculine part of the shuffle. And the lyrics to that are, upon a secret journey, I met a holy man. His blindness was his wisdom. I'm such a lonely man. And as the world was turning, it rolled itself in pain. This does not seem to touch you, he pointed to the rain. You will see a light in the darkness. You will make some sense of this. And when you've made your secret journey, you will find this love you miss. And on the days that followed, I listened to his words. I strained to understand him. I chased his thoughts like birds. The chorus repeats, and then the very last words are, and when you've made your secret journey, you will be a holy man. So Divine Masculine's on a secret journey here. The feminine got How Deep Is Your Love cover by the Bad Plus. I know your eyes in the morning sun. I feel you touch me in the pouring rain. And the moment that you wander far from me, I want to feel you in my arms again. And you come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm in your love, and then softly leave. And it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Because we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. I believe in you. You know the door to my very soul. You're the light in my deepest, darkest hour. You're my savior when I fall. And you may not think I care for you when you know down inside that I really do. And it's me you need to show. Because we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down where they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. And then there was the song Dr. Robert, which could just definitely be about healing or a name that's significant to somebody. And it's the Beatles. We can't get sad about the Beatles. And then the final song, because there was 4 songs that came on, was Soulmerge, which was just probably some yoga thing I have, but it was called Soulmerge. So, wow, significant shuffle this morning. So that's where we're starting off. Divine Masculine is on this journey, realizing he's becoming a holy man, so to speak, and Divine Feminine is telling him that he needs to step up and show her his love in sort of like a tactile way. 7:44 on the clock today. I can't adjust. I'm not happy. It's like if I'm like this, I look naked. All right, let's get started. Divine Feminine. Let's see what's on your mind and in your heart at the beginning of this week. Happy Monday, everybody. Top of the deck, overall headspace for the Divine Feminine, the Magician in reverse. So she's feeling powerless. I sense also that there is some frustration, I think, about her ability to manifest what she desires. And she might feel like she's not using all of her tools right now. She might feel like she knows exactly what she should be doing, but she's feeling kind of distracted. And I think the imminence of a union, which is really, we're going to see that in a second, I think that has been very, very distracting for her. Because the niggling thing in the back of her mind is this 2 of Cups. So underlying every decision and thought she has is this constant coming back to the physical union, the physical meetup with the masculine energy. She feels powerless to manifest their physical connection. And this is underlying everything she's thinking about. She feels, I think, that someone else, probably the masculine energy, is doing the manifestation. And there might be some feelings of manipulation that are still here, where she's still feeling manipulated to a certain extent in regards to this meeting. She's like, how long can you tease something? How long can you say this is going to happen? How long can you continue to, do the same pretty manipulative things, controlling things to keep me focused on this potential? Like, how long will that really last? Because she's kind of reaching a limit, I think, a little bit about this constant work to try to manifest this. So the first thing on her mind is the Queen of Swords. But she's upright, so she's not in the shadow of this energy. She's not coming out guns blazing here. She's being smart. She's being discerning. She's thinking about the situation. She's using her, her logic to counter emotional reactivity. She's trying to remain a bit detached because of how long it's taking for things to come together. She's trying to keep this level head. And the next thing on her mind is the Six of Swords in reverse, and it says transition. This is a divine feminine who really wants to move on. She either wants to level up into a physical union with divine masculine, that's, her true desire, or she wants to move on from this situation where she's constantly feeling manipulated. Whether it's benign manipulation or not is sort of irrelevant. It's just like, how can it be that after a year or more of these exchanges, how is divine masculine still in control of our interactions? She doesn't like this feeling. She wants to move on to this next shore. She doesn't know exactly where that next shore is, and she's uncertain about it, which is why she's having trouble just being like, come on. You can't keep promising me next month and then next month and then the month after that and the month after that and the month after that. You can't do that. You have to do something different, right? But she's not willing to move on. She's holding on to this particular manifestation of this union, and she's not willing yet to move on. She is not being defensive, right? Even though the divine, that's why I'm saying that the Queen of Swords is here. She's not in her shadow, because it's coming out with the Seven of Wands in reverse. So she's not being defensive. She's not running away, right? The Six of Swords in reverse. She's not running away, and she's not being defensive. But she really, really wants this to move to the next phase, or to be able to move on, because she's tired of having to stand her ground. She's tired of having to put up this constant battle for control. And she's just like, the control, it's a ridiculous battle because it's literally the same thing that we both desire. The next thing is the Moon in reverse, and this is what's clarifying the Queen of Swords. So as these secrets are being revealed, as she's starting to unpack her subconscious beliefs, she's gaining a lot of insight that's letting her be very, again, discerning, very thoughtful, having a lot of clarity about the secrets and mysteries that have taken place, both in terms of her life journey, understanding the secrets of the twin flame journey, for instance, and then also seeing some of these things come to light from the masculine energy. The Three of Swords is here. It's in reverse, and it is clarifying this Six of Swords in reverse. She doesn't want to admit to herself how painful it feels to be manipulated into holding on to the promise of a physical union that doesn't seem to be manifesting. Okay. So she's not wanting to face the heartache. She doesn't want to move on. She doesn't want to cause sorrow. She doesn't want to do anything to possibly disturb her chance to have this physical union. But she's really at a loss. She's in her headspace as the Queen of Swords because she's like, I don't know when the fuck this is ever going to be over. And I can't stay like this forever. There's definitely a feeling of like, I can't stay this way forever. The perspective card here is in reverse. This is the Hanged Man in reverse. And this is what's clarifying the Seven of Wands. And so she's become really defenseless against this Hanged Man energy ever ending. She's like trying not to be too defensive about the divine masculine's need for this time. She's trying herself to surrender the need to control or manipulate. This is also true that she doesn't want to have to manipulate the energy anymore. She just wants to receive. And she might feel she needs some perspective right now because to begin with that Queen of Swords that's like thinking and gaining clarity, and to end with perspective is like, you know, did I miss something? Am I doing the right thing by not moving on? I've lowered my defenses. I've gone within and listened to my subconscious beliefs and sorted out which ones hurt me and which ones don't. I've really worked to release these wounds in my heart space that were caused by third-party energy or however that's playing out. And I just want this pause to be over. Like, I don't want to be hanging in this suspension anymore. I'm truly not enjoying it. Okay? And that is definitely being clarified by the top card of the heart space, the overall feeling, which is one of sleep paralysis, which if anyone has ever had it before is a very scary feeling. And of course, the Nine of Swords is about us being trapped by our own fears and anxieties. But Divine Feminine is feeling very paralyzed. Analysis paralysis is coming to mind. But she feels like the most painful, fearful, anxious aspect of this is feeling manipulated and being uncertain whether that's in her best interest or whether it is somebody who is actually a demon. And I don't mean spiritually a demon, but 7:55 on the clock, but I mean someone who is trying to possess her, trying to, you know, move her body and make her do the things that entity wants her to do. She doesn't like this feeling, and she feels like she's like, there's ways of interacting and she's stuck in them and she can't. It's like I had 2 hours of quote unquote interaction with my masculine energy last night, and it was no communication. I mean, it was communication for him because he gets to pick out the songs and make a playlist, and then we're sitting there listening to it together. It's just like, okay. And I didn't want to leave. I wanted to like be in the presence and just try to enjoy it, but it's not good enough for her to feel like she's really, really seen and valued. It's still secret. It's still hidden. It's still dissatisfying. It's still not satisfying. It's still causing her to feel worried and anxious. Not about love, because she feels underlying everything is this love. She knows that that love is here, but I guess about receiving the treatment she receives, about having this person still think that they are in charge, that they are in control. Just because their circumstances dictate the situation, they get to control all aspects of it. So Divine Feminine's really having a hard time with this. She doesn't know if this is okay. She thinks it's probably not okay. And she's not really quite sure what to do. That's why there's this need for Queen of Swords, like being in more in her headspace and less in her dreamy, Queen of Cups, compassionate, empathetic thing, but more in a place where she has to honestly ask herself, like, what would be the point of allowing this to go on any longer? She really needs that perspective right now. I feel true heaviness there about this. The niggling feeling in her heart space is the Three of Wands, which is good because she's trying to be patient with herself and with this masculine energy. She's not trying to be reactive. That's why she's starting out with the Queen of Swords. She's like, all right, I'm going to think about this, but the way that I feel is not good. It's like, I'm going to be patient because I can see by the interactions I'm having that we're closer to union, that I can see my ships coming in. But I've been in this card with seeing my ships coming in for, I don't know, this is definitely since January and probably really since August of last year for me personally. So she's just kind of worried about how long she's going to be staying in this place where she can see the ships, but they just never come in. So that's what she's worried and afraid about, which of course we need to heal, we need to release, because that's going to hold her back from manifesting what she desires if she's worried that she can't. Okay. Here's the Two of Cups, which we already saw, but it's in its reverse. So head and heart are thinking about this Two of Cups energy. And this is what is clarifying the Queen of Swords. So this is her really thinking about how this physical union is not happening, and then I cannot make it up. I cannot. We have the Magician in reverse. So this thing that's in her head, it's coming straight from her intuition, okay? The masculine energy is definitely manipulating the situation. He is keeping Divine Feminine in suspension so that she doesn't move on to another energy, which is something he's afraid of. So she's continuing to feel this manipulation, that this masculine energy holds out the promise of physical union to keep her from moving on. Here's the Six of Swords in reverse and the Magician in reverse. So Divine Feminine right now is afraid that Divine Masculine is doing what he has always done, which is present her with this potential of these ships, but then once she sees the ships that he's promising, there he is in his 8 of Pentacles. He completely ignores her and goes back to what he was doing, taking his own sweet time, working on his career, working on his finances, working on the material. And she has no defense for this, against this, because she doesn't want to like insist that he not prioritize his passions and his work and how much time it's taken to work on himself. She has no leg to stand on. She can't fight against this aspect of his life, the time that it's taking for him to do the work that he needs to do. We're getting the 4 of Swords in reverse, which is clarifying the Moon in reverse. So this is all about secrets. And remember, the very first song was about Divine Masculine being on a secret journey. Divine Feminine is really desiring to know what these secrets are, to know what exactly is taking so fucking long. She's just like, what the fuck? And in all this time, there's no way to express why, outside of these really subtle, mysterious revelations. It's very difficult for her. She needs the expression to come from this masculine who is ignoring her for his job. He doesn't think he's ignoring her because he's thinking about her all the time. But thinking about somebody and fucking acknowledging them with a direct communication, 2 different things. This 3 of Swords in reverse is being clarified by the Fool in reverse. And it is clarifying the 6 of Swords in reverse and the Magician in reverse. So Divine Feminine is really afraid that she's being so foolish, that she's setting herself up for heartbreak again. This card, the 4 of Swords, is about, when it's in reverse, it can be about refusing to grieve something. It can be about finally opening up and expressing, waking up, becoming awakened. For the Moon and the 4 of Swords to be in reverse, it's like she's waking up. And that was right below here, this Queen of Swords with the 2 of Cups in reverse. She's waking up to the reality of the situation. That this new beginning that she's craving so much is just one that is being promised in order to keep her from moving on. And this is her intuition telling her this. This is not her head, making up stories. Because this card today is about the paralysis. She knows she's being manipulated so that she doesn't move on. That the new beginning is being teased. But that there's still this third-party energy that's preventing the new beginning. So Divine Masculine is just holding her prisoner. But she's doing that to herself. She just feels like it's coming from the Divine Masculine, but she's the one that's refusing to move on. And then we have the 9 of Wands, clarifying the Hanged Man. So Divine Feminine is definitely in need of healing. She needs to surrender any kind of control over the situation, which is what's difficult because that's, of course, here. She feels defenseless to the amount of work that this is taking, both for herself and the divine masculine. And she just feels like she's alone. She's isolated. And she's healing. But we're ending here with the Nine of Wands. The underlying thing in her headspace is companionship. And we're ending with isolation. And there's so much sadness for her there. All right, Divine Feminine. Woo, we'll come back to look at your oracles to help you with that energy. You know when you're not in tune with your own feelings and then you do the reading and you're like, that's exactly how I feel. I was just ignoring that and numbing myself to this feeling of this tantalizing new beginning that never happens. How seductive that is. Let's look at Divine Masculine, shall we? Top of the deck, overall headspace for the Divine Masculine energy is the Knight of Cups. So he is really thinking about coming and expressing his love and offering a cup for the feminine energy. We're seeing this in the light. So this is somebody who has the ability to ride their emotions and flow with them. He's not a particularly slow-moving knight, but he can be pretty wishy-washy. It's interesting because we see his cup not in his hand. It's this light right here, right in front of his eyes, which is an interesting kind of a way to position that cup. Divine Masculine can see it, but it's also right in front of his eyes. It's blinding him to what is actually going on. He's so consumed with this cup of love that he feels that he has, that he's not able to see this thing that's in the back of his mind. This is the Page of Wands in reverse. He can't see that he is just up to his old tricks. And he's just doing this. I just get this feeling of this is the same old thing. The way that he is expressing, he's blinded to the fact that this is the same old thing. Like probably if he sees Divine Feminine spread today, he'll be like, why? Because he doesn't see. He's so blinded by the love that he feels, but he doesn't have the stability in the Knight of Cups to be able to give a solid offer. So all he does is engage in these old behaviors where he's just excited and, he desires like something, but he keeps perpetuating the same cycle again and again. It's like he changes the songs on the playlist, but he's still just sitting there and you're staring at the screen looking at it. There's nothing happening. Same old tricks. So the first thing on his mind. Yeah, please stand up, card. Thank you. Wait, let me turn everything over. Ooh, can't turn my cards over today. Wow. All right. A lot of immaturity in his spread here. I'm just going to say it. First thing on his mind, the twin flame journey, the Two of Wands, the Divine Feminine, who's holding the world in her hands there. This is a card where we ask for something and we have to wait. We don't know exactly how it's going to work out. We don't know when, but we've asked for it and we're waiting for it. And this is in the past position. So I just think Divine Masculine is incredibly conscious right now, or he has learned about this twin flame connection, about the meaning of it, about the terminology even. He has an awareness of this. And I sense him feeling the same kind of discomfort with waiting, with making this Divine Feminine wait. He might be blind to the fact that he's just engaging in his old tricks, but he's not blind to the fact that divine feminine is just sitting there waiting for him. The next thing on his mind is the King of Cups in reverse. This is good because this is about releasing the shadow associated with this really great king. The King of Cups is the best king in terms of loving companionship and partnership. He's just, he's honorable. It's 8:11 on the clock. He's brave, he's true, he's compassionate, he's kind, psychic, sensitive. And he doesn't speak, he doesn't communicate. He remains silent because he is trying to protect his kingdom normally. The reversal on this can indicate a strong silent type, but it can also indicate the opposite of the shadow, which is releasing and being overly emotional, too emotional, expressing the hiccups, expressing everything. And interesting to have the hiccups. A king who's in his cups. This could also be somebody who has been drinking a lot and is maybe giving up that habit, is coming to me. But there's this desire to finally fully express himself that we're seeing here. And he's been waiting to do this. He's been waiting to be able to tell divine feminine everything. And what he's been waiting on is the perfect time. But there is no perfect time, divine masculine, especially when we see the next card. He's waiting for the perfect time to tell divine feminine why he has made her wait and caused all of this heartbreak. He's waiting to tell her about the third party energy that interfered. Now, this doesn't mean that it's a person that he's in a relationship with. It could have been a past partner. It could be a past family. It could be his parents. It could be his job. It does not have to be a karmic partner. But he's waiting for the perfect time to unburden himself and tell her the reasons why she had to wait for him to give her the world that he truly does desire to give her. And the Wheel of Fortune is an incredibly good card because it's representing a fortunate time. And it's also representing change. The wheel turns and we change. And this heartbreak, this constant state of waiting and this painful heartbreak that we see is having a profound effect on divine feminine over here, who is holding on with every last breath to this connection, to being patient for this connection, but is truly challenged, isolated, alone, and sad about that, which divine masculine is fully aware of. This is good because clarifying this King of Cups in reverse, which is this overwhelming outpouring of expression, we have the Page of Pentacles, which is taking much smaller steps, taking baby steps towards something, very small little gestures. Now look, we're carrying this eye from here to here, and there was no eyes in this image. Like you can't see when you're blinded by pain or suffering. But this enlightenment is being like slowly, little bit at a time, fully revealed to the feminine energy. He has a solid offer. He wants to give her this offer. And he's making these little gestures to try and indicate that it is time for him to come forward. That's the thing. In his headspace, he's trying to express divine feminine. Listen, it's time. You don't have to be upset. You don't have to be worried. It is time, right? But divine feminine is frustrated because of the feeling that it's divine masculine who controls the time. And divine masculine is seeing the feminine as being the person who's controlling the time in this interesting way, because it's her willingness to read the messages that he sends her that impacts whether or not he can reveal to her why she's waiting. Okay. And he's not controlling the time. The divine is controlling the time. So this is a misconception for divine feminine. This timeline is not divine masculine's desire. It's not, he's not doing that for any reason, like trying to stall or something like that. His timing is truly in the hands of the divine. And there's a message here for the feminine that the divine is likely waiting for some kind of a healing that she's still going through, still processing, that there's still a reason for her to need to be in isolation. And the final card clarifying the Wheel of Fortune is the Page of Swords. Like I said, there's a lot of immature energy here. So we see a divine masculine who's seeking emotional mastery, but is really at a very early stage of developing that. He has wisdom. It's not like he's immature all around. It's just he's not really learned exactly how to express love because of old wounds that he has needed to heal. And right, the feminine energy, just over here healing, he's going to be reflecting that back to her, of course. So the Page of Swords is about not really knowing how to do something, but being brave enough to just do it. And just running into the battle, even though you're not sure how it's going to go. I'm struck at the cloud imagery that's repeated in these two images, since we're seeing this clarification here, and we're seeing a divine feminine who is receiving a lot of clarity. This is, she's being brave enough to start to believe that it's time, because divine masculine is honestly feeling the feminine is the one who has needed more time. And this is probably why the divine feminine has felt manipulated, because divine masculine has not communicated to her his feelings about the situation. And so he's been giving her the time that she needs to be able to pick up her sword and wield it. And she has been feeling like that is coming from his desire to manipulate her, to keep her from leaving him. And it's not. It's coming from a place for him of, he wants her to feel mastery so that when they come together, she doesn't feel out of her element. The other thing I'm seeing here is he's seeking to change this aspect of the relationship where they both are spying on each other, being very curious, constantly looking up information, listening to readings, looking at all the social media. There's a desire here for this to change for them, because he knows that that's indicating a lack of trust as well. So he's thinking about that too. And he has awareness that the reason why she's got a lack of trust and why it's taking time for her to build this trust with him, because that's really what this is about. She's like, oh, divine masculine is taking so long and he's controlling the timeline. And divine masculine is like, you don't trust me. I'm building bit by bit your trust, that you really do believe in this connection, that you believe in our fate and our destiny. And she's like, yeah, well, it's hard for me to trust you because it looks like you're just up to your old tricks, which is, as far as I know, for the past year and a half, keep this person spellbound by what I'm doing, hoover them, suck them in, so that they don't go off to any other energy, because I want this person to myself, even though I cannot give them anything they need, not a single thing they need in 3D. I can give them love, but they have my love forever. But that's all I can give them. So even though I cannot do anything that the divine feminine needs me to do, he's been comfortable keeping her hooked, which is why the divine feminine is starting to question her reality, because she's like, if this person is fine with this, what type of person is this? This is what makes her start to think, is he a narcissist, etc. All right. Top of the deck for the feelings, heart space of divine masculine. Not surprisingly, the 10 of Cups in reverse. This could be about having to release a past family, but I really don't think so. This is him not being able to experience his happiness yet. Has every opportunity to be able to experience the fulfillment of all his hopes and dreams aligning, but there's still no motion towards making this 8:22 on the clock, 40:55 on the timer, towards acknowledging that there is bliss and fulfillment here. But he's not quite able to enjoy it because he's not sure that divine feminine trusts him yet. The niggling thing in his heart space is the Page of Cups in reverse, or the Daughter of Cups in reverse. To get a Page of Wands in reverse and a Daughter of Cups in reverse, or a Page of Cups in reverse, there could be two children here, boy and girl, that are in the back of his mind always, headspace and heart space, that he has to this is niggling feeling. Both of these are niggling feelings. Also, he got every single page, by the way. He got all the pages. Which I said there's like an immature energy here. There's a person who doesn't quite know how to express love yet. That's that King of Cups is in reverse. He has certain old ways of expressing love, but he's limited to them. We also see him feeling really overly apologetic for his past behaviors. But the guilt about this is what's preventing him from actually bringing in this 10 of Cups. So he's kind of stuck a little bit in his head and then feeling guilty in the heart space for the situation, which is never helpful. So, oh my God. Divine Masculine wants to end the separation. There we go. 10 of Swords. He wants this wait to be over. He wants to become unstuck. He doesn't want to have to wait anymore. We're seeing again this image of being blinded. And in this image, it's by a sword, which of course we know is our thoughts. So he's blinded by his emotions and he's blinded by his thoughts. So he's having a hard time seeing the ships coming in, right? He feels stuck in this 2 of Wands energy. He's stuck in a twin flame union. He's stuck in the twin flame dynamic. He's stuck in the waiting period. And he wants to end this separation finally and become unstuck, because the next card clarifying this King of Cups in reverse is the Sun. So there's the happiness. This is the major arcana version of this 10 of Cups. This is spiritual fulfillment, bliss. And this is coming from light itself. There's nothing else here. It's just literally the light of God, right? The light of the universe pouring through. And he wants to end the separation and open up and express what would make him happy, what his desires truly are, what really does fulfill him. He wants to fully express this verbally and actually see an expression in reality. And then this Wheel of Fortune could not be better clarified. by the 9 of Pentacles. He is feeling like it is time for his reward, which he has kept protected. There's been this angelic protection over this abundance. Now, this is both the divine feminine and also prosperity, material prosperity. He's feeling like it is time to end separation, come into the light, bring full enlightenment to the situation that happened, and claim his reward. This heartbreak he wants to reveal is coming from the Mother of Swords. This could be, this is 2 layers. There is probably a feminine that has been released who was potentially causing a lot of heartbreak and pain in the situation. It is also about divine feminine becoming defensive against third-party energy, going into this heartbreak and becoming cold, icy, defensive. And there she is. So we know that he wants to finally enjoy his reward, which is to release a former feminine who was a Queen of Swords, and for divine feminine to release her defensiveness against him so that he has the potential to take these small gestures and move from this Page of Pentacles into this Knight of Pentacles energy, which of course is very slow moving still, but it is solid and reliable. He wants to be taking these small and steady steps towards the union because he has to protect his feminine energy during this process. So he is making these moves though, because this is a card of motion, even though it's a card of slow motion. And this Page of Swords is being clarified by the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. So I'm seeing the challenge here is for divine masculine, seeing exactly how to overcome the obstacle of taking what has been in the, what's been a spiritual connection and grounding it into the 3D. I'm also seeing him feel like he is acknowledging here that he's not collaborating with the feminine. She's not working with him, is how he's feeling. But that's an interesting thing to feel and think, because divine feminine is absolutely working with him. She is not fighting off. She's defenseless against the way that he works in this situation. So it's feminine who feels that he's not working with her. It's feminine who feels controlled and manipulated. And divine masculine gets confused by that because he's like, how could she think I'm manipulating her? You know, when all I'm doing is I'm doing all this for love, and I'm doing this so that she can see that I love her. But divine masculine's motives are not truly about divine feminine. His motives have been about protecting divine feminine from his actions without ever communicating to her about them or asking her if she would like to be protected, which is a huge part of communication. Do I want to be protected from being hurt, harmed, or maimed? Yes. But do I want to have a conversation and knowledge about that? Yes. There's a lot more vulnerability when you don't know the threat. So there's that. All right, let's help these 2 kids out. Divine feminine, let's take a look at your oracles. The first cards we're going to look at will be your sexual energy. We're still dealing with this 9 of Swords. That's in your heart space too. So you're still feeling really afraid, and afraid of making sexual connections with people, with others. And you've got this Princess of Pentacles card coming out with the Nine of Swords. So again, this is page energy, which we already saw, this Page of Pentacles. So in terms of coming into a sexual union, you are really needing to take very small little baby steps towards that. You know, you got to go on a date first. You got to get like a kiss. You've got to start to do some heavy petting. Like there's got to be a warm up period into being completely expressing yourself in sexual union, particularly because you're in this holding pattern. You're really afraid to be sexual with anyone else. Divine Masculine has insisted that you're not, without giving you anything to go on. So that's fucked up. And you definitely need sexual union. So there is a call here for Divine Feminine to start to take small steps toward realizing some physical connection with someone else, and to face these fears about potentially hurting herself or hurting the Divine Masculine, which is bullshit, because if that were true, then she would not be around, because Divine Masculine is definitely engaged in third-party situations in the last few years. Therefore, if that were the thing that kept Divine Feminine from experiencing true love, then he would be not loving her anymore, because he's the one who's engaged in third party. So for him to be like, don't do that, Divine Feminine, you have to do what is best for you. And being afraid to be sexual with someone is not best for you, because you don't know when Divine Masculine is going to ground this union. Are you going to wait until you die? What if he doesn't ground it in this lifetime? That's a real possibility. Hi, Christina. Thanks for joining. So it's really difficult for Divine Feminine to desire others, because she's got in her mind that they're going to be together. But if they are not going to be together soon, then you are not going to feel sacred sexual union, which is your God-given right. So you've got to start to take these steps towards being physical, because a lot of the turmoil and pain I see over on your side comes from this isolation, which is not good for you. Oh, this is so difficult, ladies. All right, let's look at the archetype. Can't fucking make it up. You're getting the priest in reverse. Oh my Lord. Hi, Beatrice. I don't answer questions, but I bet whatever you're here for, you're probably going to get the question answered, because I'm reading about masculine and feminine energy, and everybody always asks about relationships. So stay tuned. You're probably going to get your question asked. If you want to ask live questions, I sometimes do them over on TikTok. It's kind of unpredictable, so you just sort of have to keep your eye out over there. But for sure, on Sundays, with Grace Strega on Instagram, we will pull cards for people and answer them for you live. So that's on Sunday, or potentially we might be shifting it to Saturday, but it's usually around 12 noon Pacific Coast time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then you can ask questions there. You can also go to pearlsprayers.com. There's a contact form. You can click the contact form and ask a question there. If I have time, I can try to answer it, but I don't do free readings. There has to be some kind of an energy exchange, because otherwise I couldn't eat. Like, I can barely eat now. So, but go right over to that website. There's a bunch of services there if you need a personal reading. However, you'll probably get your questions answered since you were called here. So the Divine Feminine, she's feeling afraid of entering into a physical connection with anyone, having any kind of sacred sexual union with anyone. And then she's in the shadow of the priest archetype, which is, for me, really emphasizing this being seduced by your own spiritual role. Divine Feminine feels that she's part of this twin flame journey. And when you're a part of that journey, you feel so connected, you feel bonded to that soul, and you feel married to them because you probably have been throughout different times in your incarnation. So you feel that if you engage in outside energy, you're violating the trust of the masculine energy. You also feel when he engages in third party that he's doing that to you, but he's not, because you're not in union and there is no promise, and you don't have to keep promises to someone who hasn't given you any. And you don't have to feel that he has to keep promises to you, because he literally doesn't. The whole journey is to learn not to let your ego interfere with the love you feel for someone, which means when Divine Masculine goes and engages in a third party sexual relationship, your ego is really upset because it's like, this person doesn't love me and they're going to leave me and I'm never going to see them again. And it's terrible, because when someone has sex with somebody, that means what? What does it mean? What does it mean? Most of the sex that we have is not sacred. You're called to have sacred union. So it is a good thing that you don't feel like you want to jump on every dick that's walking by, like, you know, or whatever body part you like to jump on. I like to jump on all the body parts, but like, it's a good thing that you're not doing that, because in this community, that's not a healed way to behave. That's not how we engage in sexual union. However, if you are not allowing yourself opportunities to be with healed, awakened individuals who are attracted to you and who want to engage with you in sexual energy or explore relationship dynamics, you are missing out. You are missing out. There's no reason for you to take a vow of celibacy. No one has asked you to do that. That's hurting you, because it's keeping you. I'm not saying not having sex is hurting you, but I'm saying feeling bound to someone that you are not bound to is hurting you. Okay? I don't want you to have sex with people just because you got a card that said you should start small and have sex with people. I just want you to acknowledge that you feel deprived by not having physical union, but you're afraid to engage in it because of these commitments you have made to someone who has given you no reason to commit to them. Not a single reason that I can see if you're here about separation. Okay? So there's that. So the light attribute of the priest energy is that you serve as a channel of spiritual energy. You don't have to be seduced by the fact that you're a twin flame, and you don't have to remain pure as a twin flame. That's no. So release that. The other meaning that's coming from this too is, as Divine Masculine grounds the union and comes in, and you do start to begin to explore sexual union with Divine Masculine, you are still going to need to take very small steps. There's a lot of healing that has taken place, and this is going to be a new experience for you in general. So there's that meaning. Hey, Saint Hildegard von Bingen is here with an emphasis on believing. You're having a hard time, Divine Feminine. You're very challenged by the clock. You're challenged by the fact that, as I said when I pulled this card, that I have been in this position for over a year and a half, looking at my ships, being like, oh, did you see my ships? You can see them, right? I see there they are. They're right there. Why aren't they moving? I need them to come to the harbor. If they can't come to the harbor, I can't get on the ships. I can't get the shit off the ships. They're just sitting there. They're just sitting there, right? So at some point, you're starting to think, maybe those aren't my ships. Maybe those are someone else's ships. I thought they were mine, but they're not coming to me. So, fuck, like, maybe I got it totally wrong. It's someone else's ships. Someone else's shit. My ships aren't even here. They're not even here. Like, where are mine? And really, they are there. And they are waiting for you to do this. Heal. And you're like, are you fucking serious? I've been healing for the last year and a half. And you're like, yes, you have. You have. And you are seeing the pieces falling into place. And if you continue healing your fears, anxieties, limiting beliefs, you can come into union. Hope is the conduit for miracles. Believe. Interesting. The progression into belief is first to hope. You have to hope, and then once your hope transforms into belief, that's when your miracles happen. You got a lot of spell casting cards today. Reconciliation in reverse. Freedom in reverse. And answers. This is you feeling bound again. This is you really needing apologies and feeling like you're being kept in this prison. You want apologies for this. You want apologies for the divine masculine. You want answers. You want to know why. Why are you okay with this? Why are you okay with trapping me while you do whatever it is you're doing? Why, divine masculine? Is that okay? Are you sorry? And to which he would respond, yeah, I'm fucking sorry. And then you'll get in a fight. But why do you have to say it like that? Right? But divine feminine really wants answers. She wants to know why her freedom has been taken from her by the masculine energy. Why he would insist on her loyalty and companionship and not give her the same. What do you need to release, divine feminine? Well, it looks like you have a few demons that you need to release. Some things in your headspace that are just causing you to get a little frustrated, a little impatient. Overall, your feeling is patience, but you're starting to squirm a little bit on the hook, I think. And you're realizing you're on a hook and you're not liking it. Don't let pride get in your way. Your ego is the one that's a little bit worried right now, right? This is your ego. What's he doing? What does it mean? Is it ever going to end? Is it going to turn into something? Why is it happening like this? I should be treated better. I deserve this. I deserve that. I deserve the other thing. You do. You deserve all the things that you know you deserve. However, it is our pride that will get in the way, because divine masculine isn't doing this to you. This is not divine masculine. This is what you have turned divine masculine into by thinking him into this position, right? Into this possessive demon. The divine masculine doesn't own you, doesn't have any possession over you. For him thinking that is really cute. You haven't had any possession over him, right? And you've been so worried, like, oh, if I go into something else and he's going to get upset, and he'll never be with me. Okay, so if that person is so toxic that he wouldn't be with you because when he couldn't be with you, you were with somebody, you don't want that person. The divine masculine is not going to react that way. He will react with discomfort. He will react with some grief. He will react with potentially passion, anger, intensity. But the divine masculine is going to work through those feelings just like you have had to do. Has he not gone and engaged in third-party stuff as far as you know? Or have you not suspected it? And still you love this person. So don't let your ego get in your way of experiencing the life you're meant to live. You are not meant to live in isolation alone. You are not meant to. We have discovered in medical science that the true cause of heart disease, it's not food, it's not your body weight, it's not even stress from work. It is every single thing that factors into your health being perpetuated by a lack of connection. So if you engage in behaviors that put your heart at risk, and there is no human connection, you are likely going to die of a heart attack. If you engage in the same types of behavior, but you live in a community that speaks all the same language, there's multiple families living together, you go to some kind of a religious thing once a week, you have potlucks, those people have the lowest rates of heart disease, which is the number one killer, right? We are not meant to be alone. We are meant to connect with others. There are times in our lives when we go off into hermit energy, we explore, we surrender, we get perspective, but we are not meant to stay in isolation alone for 13 years. Here's the Pleiades card in reverse. This keeps coming out because Divine Feminine keeps needing to be reminded of this. Again with the hiccups. This card says double mission. And then it doesn't say anything about coming into union. Not one thing. Because though you don't want to hear it, coming into union is not the point of the twin flame journey. Meeting together, having a drink, getting busy, not part of it. It's not at all part of the journey. The journey is to learn to channel energy and uplift humanity. I don't know any twins in union. I'm a twin that hopes I get to be in union, but I don't know any. So as far as I know so far, it really is just about learning how to do the healing I need to do to open up to be able to have healthy relationships. I hope that I get to have a healthy relationship with my twin, but I don't know. And I know for sure that it's not my mission. My mission is just to learn how to channel energy and uplift you who are watching and help us all communicate with love. Good morning, Lena. How are you? So yes, for sure, there is nothing in there about coming into union. And if you're here just to learn that, I don't think that you'll be leaving my YouTube readings for a long time, because the lesson is to learn that that is not what is the most important thing. So that's Divine Feminine's still kind of processing this. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be with this person, which is why I cannot isolate myself from all other connections for this one connection. Even if I want to, even if I don't want to move on, when I start to feel a readiness inside of myself, which, to be honest with you, when we look at this spread, we're seeing a Divine Feminine that is like, here we are again, and I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Alone. It might be time to start to look at healing whatever it is that's keeping you from coming into any connections, right? Because your twin is an excuse not to be with anyone. Yikes. Don't like that kind of tea. Thank you for spilling there, Divine. All right, Ain't Spirit. The next card is Ant Spirit. Time to collaborate. And that is coming out with the Eight of Wands in reverse, which is, of course, about no communication. How do you collaborate with someone who doesn't communicate with you? It's very difficult. We talked about it from Divine Masculine side. Let's look at the book to get some more insight from these two cards. We have the one card, which, of course, is also kind of like the Magician. And the Magician is about co-creating with spirit. So I do see Magician energy here, and Divine Feminine got the Magician card in reverse twice. So this is an important message for her. When Ant Spirit comes to visit, it's to celebrate the benefits of working in a partnership with others as part of a community or tribe. Didn't we just talk about that? Spirit reminds you that to build your dream, you need to work with others, accept help, and trust in your most important partnership, the one you have with spirit, right? That was the priest card also. Your intentions will come to fruition if you remain awake and focused on co-creating your reality with others and with spirit. Remember that the world around you can easily seduce you if you don't have some sort of practice or discipline, like meditation, to keep you on track as you build the life you desire. Connecting with others and having accountability partners can be very helpful. It's unlikely that everyone will fall asleep at the same time. The other message Ant Spirit holds is that you are now at an auspicious time to ask for help and receive it. Whether you need help assembling a team, finding a new tribe, or requesting assistance from others who are there for you, everything is working to support you now. So, with the Magician card coming out twice in its reverse, and the message there about being not using all the tools we have, and then seeing this come out and talk to us about maybe needing to have a meditative practice. I have a feeling, and I know that I can personally resonate with this message, that divine feminines have become overly focused on union once again. Now, don't beat yourself up. This happens every cycle because we are going through that cycling of the runner chaser. Most of us have stepped out of the chasing for the feminine. We have started to kind of step into a place where we are just sort of open. Our door is open. You can come in, but we are not chasing. So we're ending that cycle. It's possible that as we have ended the chasing cycle, divine masculine has stepped into that chasing cycle. However, I do feel that both sides of self are starting to calm down and get less triggered. That is what we have been learning, okay? But in this cycling through this period where you're now like, all of a sudden the potential is starting to show itself again. And you start to be like, oh, it's going to happen. And then your meditation goes out the door. You stop eating because you're like lovesick and you're, oh, I didn't even eat all that. You forget that you decided that you were going to start a new project this week because instead you were on Divine Masculine's playlist all fucking day. Speaking from personal experience. So, divine feminine, it's really important that you implement those routines. You get those routines back in place. And again, you're being called to connect with others, which I know is difficult for you, but it is something that you do need to do because this divine masculine energy, he's not coming fast. This is slow. You want to talk slow? Someone asked me on TikTok, which if you want to follow me on TikTok, it's Pearl's Prayers. Somebody asked me about my twin flame journey. So I was like, okay, I'll talk a little bit about it. And then I got on to record myself and I was like, hi, my twin flame journey has been going on for 13 years. Which is like, wow, that's so romantic. Is it? All right, the myth from this card comes from North America. It is a Lenape legend, which is disputed, actually, and it's about the rainbow crow. The Eight of Wands represents quick, decisive actions. The rainbow crow flies quickly to deliver warmth to the cold earth below, singeing his wings in the process. His sacrifice and swift journey are fruitful. When this is reversed, we are seeing lethargy, delays, bad timing, slowness, and frustration. Tracks. You're frustrated. Things are moving too slowly. I understand. You don't have to wait. You don't. You can right now, from where you are at this current moment, create the life that you want right now. You will have to have the life that you want while you are next to your partner, no matter what. So if your life doesn't look right now the way that you plan for it to look when you have a partner, your job is to get busy, get to work right now, implementing those things that you know will help you create your reality. So those routines, those community things that you're involved in, start to do those things now. Do not wait because this is not moving fast right now. We have come into a point where the chariot has slowed down. And it's to allow for this healing. Okay, divine masculine. Let's see where your sexy energy is to start off. Oh, no. All right. We're getting the Queen of Wands in reverse. And we're getting the Queen of Swords in reverse. When we look at them upright, the Queen of Wands is composed of this energy that spirals through this whole deck, which is called the Prisma Visions Tarot. It is an awesome deck. I love it so much. I haven't used it for my main readings, but I use it for sexual readings all the time now. And we have the Queen of Swords, who is wrangling this beast, okay? This energy is overthinking, it is manipulative, conniving, it is detached. This energy is jealous, wrathful, overly sexual. I'm trying to think of other shadow for, an ego based for the Queen of Wands. So what does this mean for you? This is your sexual energy right now. Right now, in terms of sacred union, you might be going back and forth between two different feminines that you are wanting to engage in union with, or it's possible that you had sexual experiences with a feminine that caused anger and jealousy, and you were in a relationship with a feminine who cheated, but right now your sexual energy is feeling very blocked by either indecisiveness between two feminines, or facing the repercussions of the pain that you caused when you engaged in sexual energy. It's causing you to become defensive and you to maybe deny your own sexual energy or not allow the feminine aspect of the sexual energy. So maybe receiving sexually is really difficult for you right now. And you also could just be trying to control. There could be that you are like, it's been such a long time since you've had any fun. Like you've been withholding from having sex with anyone. And so every single feminine is like a temptation. And you just like are holding back this beast because you just really need to get your needs met. I feel you, bro. I feel you. So that's an interesting energy. Let's look at your shadow. You are in the shadow of the hedonist. This is pursuing pleasure to the detriment of health and indulging at the expense of others. So divine masculine, you have been, I know, drinking too much because that King of Cups coming out in reverse. So you've been drinking too much, maybe doing other substances, a lot of partying going on, a lot of numbing behaviors. And it's interesting because it's either one of these things. You're either engaging with a lot of partners right now in really detached, unfulfilling, purely sexual, not sacred at all type of things, or you're using like these indulgences to try to like prevent you from doing that, because right now you're feeling like you just need to get your needs met, and it's difficult for you. You need to come into the light, which is inspiring creativity or inspiring creative energy to embrace the good things in life and celebrating the beauty in yourself. So you've not been really celebrating beauty lately. You've been participating in celebrations of depravity, sexual energy, things that are really unfulfilling. Not very good feeling coming from those cards. Saint Mary Magdalene is here to support you in this energy of forgiveness. Divine masculine, you need to forgive yourself for these behaviors. And I think that you are seeking forgiveness from the feminine. You're engaging in these behaviors because you feel bad about yourself. You want forgiveness from her for the situation. I don't envy your position, Divine Masculine. The forgiveness prayer that I have been sharing with everyone that I heard from Meredithia Crystals and Minerals or something on YouTube is, I forgive myself for not forgiving you, and with this, I forgive you too. That mantra Divine Feminine has been saying. So start to implement that into your daily routine of forgiving yourself, Divine Masculine, for what you have done and for the behaviors you have engaged in. The reason why you are jealous and why you're afraid of Divine Feminine betraying you is because you have done that. So you need to forgive yourself for that, and you need to believe in Divine Feminine's, in the true nature, her truly divine nature, which is to be unconditionally loving and forgiving. When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract the support of the universe. So you need to be connected to this joy. Right now, you're disconnected from it. You're detached from it. Because when you tune into the joy that is there and the bliss that is there, your timeline, right, that you're on, it insists that you have to go slow. And so when you tune into it, it makes you focus on the separation, the wounding, and the waiting that Divine Feminine is doing. And that keeps you from truly experiencing your joy. But if you can just connect into that joy, you're going to speed up the time that it takes to be able to give to Divine Feminine. Well-being is in reverse. This might be a masculine who has issues with hypochondria, constantly worrying about sickness, wellness. And ironically, I think this is the type of behavior where this individual would treat their body like a temple around certain foods, like, oh, I can't eat that. I don't eat that. That doesn't agree with me, yada, yada, yada. And then snort cocaine off of a mirror in a bathroom later, like it's this fixation on well-being that's then not supported by behaviors. So well-being is your natural state. You have to release this fear that things aren't well. I just finished recording a song on Friday, and the bridge section repeats over and over, all is well, and really embracing that everything that's happening is happening to bring you into that state. Your conclusion in your song, Divine Masculine, is that your secret journey was to become a holy man. Again, it wasn't to be with Divine Feminine. It was to become a holy man, somebody who understands the nature of the well-being that exists in the universe. So you're learning these lessons. A personal issue reaches resolution is in reverse, and you are good enough. So there's this thing that you've been believing, that these things that are happening in your home life are somehow what is preventing you from being able to do what you want to do. So you have these like personal issues going on, and you're like, that's what's keeping me from getting to Divine Feminine. But what's keeping you from coming into union with Divine Feminine is that your personal issue is that you feel that you are not good enough. And you have to address this, because there's no amount of convincing Divine Feminine can do. You're like, that she doesn't know. I'm not really with her. She's not really in a relationship with me. So she thinks I'm good enough. But once I'm in a relationship with her, you watch. She's going to know that I'm not actually a good person. She's not going to love me anymore. That's about you feeling you are not good enough for the feminine. And there's nothing Divine Feminine can do, because Divine Feminine has been over here for years, knowing all your flaws. It's not like she's not aware of them. You think you're good at hiding them. She's psychic. And you're not good at hiding them. People who aren't psychic are like, well, we know that's his flaw. You're flawed. She's flawed. We're flawed. We don't like perfect things, it turns out. If we had a perfect looking robot come in here right now, I would fucking kill it. I would be like, what's wrong? You're fucking from another universe. You're not real. We don't like perfection. We like imperfection. We don't admit that to ourselves, but we do. The only reason that perfection is interesting to us is because it's impossible. So, you are not perfect. You will never be perfect. I don't want you to be perfect, and no one else does. You are good enough. You're getting this Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. Right now, you are trusting others outside of self instead of yourself. You're not trusting your own guidance. You're asking people, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do the other thing? And people around you are fucking stupid. They don't know shit about shit. Most of the people in Divine Masculine's network, they're the ones he's doing bumps with on the mirror in the bathroom. So these are not people that are like in tune at all. In fact, a lot of them seem like they are because that's fashionable right now, but they're not. And how can you tell? How they're acting. If they all felt good, they wouldn't all be numbing themselves out all the fucking time. Okay? So not happy people that you should trust in terms of guidance. Not a single one of them. You have to surround yourself with people who are grounded and focused, people who have families, healthy relationships, connections. If you're not around those type of people, you should not be paying any attention to the guidance they're giving you. They're wrong, 100%. So Divine Masculine has to change his crowd, and he has to change who he trusts in terms of the messages that he receives. He needs to trust his own guidance, which comes from the divine. And then we are getting Wombat Spirit, which is not one I get often. It's the protection message. And we're getting Be at Home. It's number 68. And then we're getting the 9 of Cups, which is wish fulfillment, right? It's also about keeping things to ourselves and hoarding and not sharing. So let's look and see what the messages are. We're going to check Wombat Spirit protection message first. Here we go. Could it be that you're not feeling comfortable in your own skin, thinking that the only way you can be with others is to hide under the protection of a mask or identity you created to protect yourself from getting hurt? Sorry. This mask or persona is supposed to make you look strong, but really it just robs you of your integrity. Wombat Spirit arrives to nudge you to drop the false masks, because it is not others who will hurt you now. It is you who are hurting yourself when you aren't being authentic. It's okay, though. You can course correct if you are willing to be yourself no matter what comes, even if others are not in agreement with your authenticity. You are safe with Spirit. Okay, well, I don't really need to go deeper into that. That is absolutely what is going on. We just talked about that with the friends that you're around who you're putting up this facade, and y'all are a shit show right now. All right, I'm trying to find this 9 of Cups so I can see where the tail comes from, because I'm trying to learn all the tips on these cards. This is, it's from Iran. It's the Taj al-Muluk and the Princess Dunya, so it's the Taj Mahal. The 9 of Cups represents a happy ending achieved in unexpected ways. Prince Taj al-Muluk fell in love with Princess Dunya, but she refused men. He used trickery, disguising himself as a woman in order to win her heart. This is about dreams realized, pleasure, recognition, and triumph. Interesting. We got a card about masking, and we got a card about how the divine masculine had to trick the divine feminine into loving him. Very interesting. The message for me is divine masculine becoming the feminine will win divine feminine's heart. And I don't mean dressing in drag, although I do love me some David Bowie. But I'm just saying, fully allowing your own feminine energy, allowing that mask that you wear that hides the feminine inside of yourself, and just allowing yourself to be emotional and feeling without misogynistically believing that that is weak, because that is a misogynistic thing that you are thinking. You will be able to have your wishes fulfilled if you are authentically you without wearing a mask. And authentically you means you're an integrated two aspects of self. Powerful message. Be yourself, divine masculine. Be home right now. All right, let us look at the closing energy for the union. Okay, we're getting, for the sexual energy, we are getting vice in reverse, which I think is devil energy, although it's not the 13th card, so I'm not sure. And then the Hanged Man, which we already got today, although for divine feminine, it came out in reverse as the perspective card. But we are suspended. Our sexual energy is suspended as we release any of this toxic, codependent, poisonous energy that we normally had combined with our sexual unions with people in the past. So there's a need here to gain perspective and to release any ideas we had about our sexuality together. It's going to be a completely new experience to come together. I also note that in this instance, this individual is actually threatened by these piranha that are here in the water. So it's an interesting suspension card because there's actually some danger here. So right now, the sexual energy for the two of you is suspended until you've worked on any of the toxic things that are still there for you in regards to sex. So this is fear. These are healing of sexual traumas. These are other karmic partners, perhaps, that you have had, that you have engaged with, that you need to release, like the memories or ideas about what sexual union is. This is also about not allowing yourselves to have pleasure again. This is about both of you being suspending your sexual exchanges. And you're doing that because you want to come together, right? You want to be physically together in union, and you don't want to betray one another. But we already went on about that. We're not betraying each other to do this. However, in the feeling that I have right now is that union is very close for many in this particular collective. So there is a benefit to waiting for that union if you feel so inclined. But it can't come from a place of fear. It has to come from a place of peace. That's just like, I don't really need physical connection right now because I feel at peace. I know that I'm going to have this sacred union very soon. So there is that message that's coming out from those cards. You are both in the shadow of the dilettante. Hi, Krishna. This is not, I don't answer questions here. This is, you'll probably have questions answered if you have arrived here. But if you want to ask personal questions, you'll have to come on either Sunday or Saturday to the Instagram lives, or you can go to pearlsprayers.com and ask personal questions there in the contact form, and I will let you know options and readings that are available there. So you're both right now, the masculine and feminine are both in the shadow of the dilettante, okay? So the shadow of the dilettante is the pretension to a much deeper knowledge than you actually possess, which I don't feel. The thing that I always feel with this card is that you are in danger of becoming superficial. The thing that I felt so much last night when I was engaging with my DM, which I was really happy to be able to do, it felt so superficial though. And that's why when these cards came out for the feminine side, I was like, that tracks. Because everything I felt last night was like, wow, this is real. He really loves me. We're together. We're experiencing this. And we're not talking and we're not touching and we're not making any progress forward. And I still don't know what's going on. And I still don't know what he wants. And I still don't know when there's going to be a change. So this just feels like a really superficial interaction. You choose these songs, I listen to them, oh, you love me. And then I posted social media of me looking fantastic for you. And then you jerk your dick off and we go to sleep. Like, that's not where I want to be. So right now, the couple, both of you are in danger of just staying on this peripheral sort of like, this is comfortable, because you're not really willing to take that leap and face those fears and go any deeper. You're still afraid to go deeper than that. And so you're stuck in that like edging, which is hot when you want it, and it actually is going to end up being something, but not hot when it's just happening for years and years and years without your consent. So you really just have to get in there, and you have to do it even though you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're just both afraid. You're like, I don't want to fuck it up. But by not doing anything, you're fucking it up. So you need to just go much deeper into this relationship than you've been willing to do. And how can you do that? Pray about it. This is also when two or more are gathered in my name. That was the one takeaway I had from my experience last night. I was with him at the same time, doing something, conscious of each other at the same time. And of course, lying there wondering if he'd just fallen asleep, because I was about ready to fall asleep and I didn't want to fall asleep. So I didn't know what was going on. You want to be praying together for this union. You want to be, when we pray for things also, we don't pray for what we don't want. So we don't sit there and go like, God, please make this change and different, and so this doesn't happen. Because that's coming from a place of focusing on what we don't want, what we don't like. We're asking, please make this different, please. No. You want to pray from a place of confidence and gratitude. Thank you, God, for changing this dynamic between me and my divine masculine. Thank you for the work that you're doing to heal me and my masculine so that we no longer engage in superficial interactions. I appreciate so much the lessons that I'm learning as I'm going through this. It's been very painful, and I'm so thankful that you are always there for me, supporting me and holding me up, even amidst the most challenging things I've ever experienced. That is how you're praying, right? You're not praying like, oh, please help me. It's so awful. I hate it. So make sure you're conscious about how you are asking for things and how you are offering gratitude for the things you already have. I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. I don't know if I've gotten this card before, but wow. This is so important. And the eye was all over Divine Masculine side today. So this is absolutely vital for you to move forward, the both of you. You have to let go of the shadow of the past by seeing each other with the eyes of love. So seeing each other for the first time. So when masculine steps up, I don't see any of the 13 years of waiting for him to do it. I see him as fresh, new love right now, because he isn't the person who I met 13 years ago. Not even close. I'm not that person I was 13 years ago. Not even close. I was 150 pounds heavier. I had like a terrible failing marriage, a really complicated, codependent, toxic friendship, and that was like just consuming me. And I was just starting. It was the year before I went back to music school to actually do what I had always dreamed of doing. And then finding out there were things I didn't even know I dreamed of doing. I had always wanted to do music. I didn't know I wanted to do electronic production. And I became a completely different person than I am, or than I was then. So there's no way that this person can come into your life and be the same. So why would you be making assumptions about them being the same? They are not. The things that I did even 8-9 years ago, I would never do that. I would never do those things now. I have too much self-respect. I value myself. I believe in myself in ways I would never engage in the things that my divine masculine is afraid I would engage in now. It just wouldn't happen. It's not me. So give divine masculine the same benefit of the doubt. He might be up to his old tricks, but that's because he doesn't have new ideas. He's fresh out of ideas. And you want to know why divine masculine is fresh out of ideas? Is because there's only one thing left to do. Ground the union. That's it. Overcome the obstacle. He's fresh out of ideas because he wants a way to get around this. He wants to get around the obstacle. He wants to sneak around it. He wants to sneak under it. He wants to find, a way to like have somebody just drop him on the other side because he doesn't want to face whatever this is. And he thinks that whatever this is like, oh, it's the ex-wife, or it's the family, or it's the rigid belief system, or it's this, or it's that, or it's the other thing. But he is his own block. It is his own worthiness that is his block. Everything else is just an external manifestation of the block that he doesn't want to really just dig into. You are both getting the travel card. This came out yesterday and it's here today. And I do think there is travel for you coming. I not only, I think, like in terms of moving into union or leveling up or transitioning, but this is Six of Swords energy too, like learning lessons and just moving on. Some of us might be moving on from old past relationships in the collective towards one another. And there also might be some traveling that has to take place in order for you to come together. So there's that. That's weird. My whole computer screen just went black, so I don't know if that affected the feed. But anyway, so this energy of traveling is surrounding you right now. You're on this journey. You're heading towards one another. You and your loved ones are safe. Okay, so your homes, your families, these things that you stay up at night. Oh my God, why do I have to throw that on the floor? Ugh. These things that you stay up at night worrying about that consume you, that make you feel stuck and trapped. You and your loved ones are safe. You can let these fears go. Everything is working out just as it's meant to. Trust your path. If you knew you were supported, what would you do? I know that if the two of you knew that you were supported to get together today, that's what you would do. Well, you are. You are 100% supported. So go do it. Whatever it is you've been like, oh, I need this or that or the other thing to do it, just do it. My puppy was supposed to get yesterday, but my check that guarantees I can pay for anything I'm waiting for still it didn't arrive. And I have a session on Tuesday. I have a mixed session on Tuesday. And suddenly it occurred to me, oh, I don't want to get a 3.5-month-old puppy. Like this was yesterday, today. And then have 48 hours with her and then have to either leave her here with some stranger, which I would have to pay, or take her with me to the studio. She's going to be so overwhelmed. I have no idea what her temperament is like. So I told the owner, I was like, I actually think I need to wait a few days because I have this session that I have to do. And then I'll be home for like 2 weeks and I can I have more flexibility after that so we can get bonded or whatever. But there was fear there. There was fear there. There was fear that I wasn't going to be supported, that check wasn't going to come. And then I would end up with a dog and I really want to take care of the dog and I won't be able to pay for the dog. And I was like, bitch, if that check doesn't come, you're going to have bigger problems than just your dog. So you might as well have a dog. Like you can't keep postponing doing what you want to do because you're afraid you're not going to be supported. You have to have faith that you are supported. You are both getting skunk spirit, the protection message, know your worth, and the high priestess. So know your worth and trust yourself are the strong messages we're getting. Let's look at the protection message from skunk spirit. I know the oracle message, but I don't know the protection one as well. Let's see, horse. Here we go. Not everyone will appreciate you. Many people have issues of their own to address, and you may trigger something in them. But if so, no matter. Skunk spirit calls you to be fully yourself without apology. Now is the time for honesty and admitting that something does not sit right for you. You deserve the self-respect that comes when you courageously choose to stand up for yourself and speak your truth in love. Remember who you are and what really matters to you, and act with integrity. You will be so glad you did. So I do feel that there is a call here for, it could be telepathic communication too because of the high priestess being here, but admitting that something doesn't sit right with you. I mean, for me, this reading, if my divine masculine actually watches it, based on the divine feminine side and my comments about how this doesn't sit right with me. Expressing to that masculine energy, hey, our current dynamic doesn't sit right with me. It feels off. It doesn't feel secure to me. Being honest with each other about what's going on and really communicating as best as you can within your limits. I mean, if some of you are blocked, then how can you communicate with that person? You just have to use your higher level communication. You have to express them, hey, I don't feel good right now about this situation. You also need to understand that there's going to be a lot of people around you who don't understand your connection. They don't get it. Not only do they not know what the fuck twin flame is, they don't understand how you possibly could have been in this situation with this person for so long and kept going back and all this kind of stuff. So there's those around you who might not be able to see what you can see, but you have to trust yourself, right? You have to not be concerned about what others are thinking and trust yourself. Now, in order to trust yourself, you have to know the difference between fear and, I'm getting a phone call. I'm going to ignore it. Fear and intuition. I saw Grace Strega posted a TikTok that was really helpful about when you feel your intuition, it actually feels very, very uncomfortable. It's like in your stomach. There's like a swooping sensation usually. It can kind of make you feel nauseous. And it's like for me, it's got the persistence of like a very strong finger poking into my like solar plexus almost. Like it's got a real strong pulling feeling. Fear, for me, my whole body, I feel like somebody cracked an egg of like icy hot over top of my head and it just like flows all the way down to my feet. Maybe comes in kind of waves. It's a totally different feeling than intuition. So you have to sort of suss that out for yourself and be like, how do I experience intuition versus fear? And just really be very mindful of your feelings and start to be able to tell the difference. That is how you navigate through life, through your guts, through your goddess guts, okay? Which is what Kai says from my coven. And it's up to you right now to sort of go within and figure out exactly how to do this. The tale on this card is from Turkey. It's about Scheherazade. The high priestess is a keeper of vast knowledge with a story for every situation. Scheherazade asks the listener to focus on what their subconscious tells them, encouraging them to form their own conclusions. Her power is vast yet subtle, her answers always mysterious. Wisdom, intuition, dreams, meandering, and enigma. So trust yourself. All right, let's quickly close out this reading with the little minor things that we can do today that will help us come into union. Thank you for being here, everyone. Please like, subscribe, share. You can go to pearlsprayers.com for personal readings or to hear my music that was released. And there'll be more that's going to be released soon, too, in October. So stay tuned for that. And I will be back here on YouTube on Wednesday for the release for the obstacles removed reading. And then Friday will be release and rebuild. All right, let me get these messages for you. Whoop, I saw that one. Let me think if there's anything else. Oh, yes, just stay tuned to my stories about the Grace Draga readings because we might be switching to Saturday instead of Sunday, but I'm not quite sure yet. So stay tuned to my stories. Pearl's Prayers is my TikTok. I do 3-minute mini check-ins 6 days a week, so you can see those over there. Ooh. One more, please. And then Divine Feminine. Alrighty, here we go. Divine Feminine, these are the things that you can do today that will help you come into union. Oh, Lord. We've got the Grim Reaper. The relationship is over. No second chances. Grow and transform your life. So this is the death card, basically. And then we're getting love, unconditional love, self-love, oneness, passion, affection, and attraction. We are getting the Coffin with the 9 of Pentacles, and we are getting Crossroads. This is supposed to be minor stuff today with the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. For some in the collective, there are some in the collective, and I would say this is a small percentage. I'm not feeling this is overwhelming, but there are some in the collective where this relationship is over because it is not a twin flame relationship. There are some that have been experiencing a karmic. You'll know because they are very toxic. The divine masculine is not toxic. So he may engage in some toxic behaviors, but he pivots when he is called out on those behaviors. A truly toxic person does not have self-awareness, and they do not change or shift or grow. So there is somebody there are some in the collective that do need to end a relationship, and there isn't second chances for it, and they need to just grow and focus on their self-love. They can have unconditional love for that person, but it is really, really important that they focus more on themselves and their own love and their own self-worth. And Divine Feminine, there's this crossroad that is here right now where you have to sort of make a decision to be very clear, to clearly write down what would constitute your Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is, of course, it's this abundant, it's about wealth, it's about prosperity. So you need to write down exactly what kind of an offer you want. Get very clear about it. And then you need to give yourself the things that you're asking for from someone else. So even though I'm saying there's a small percentage of people that do need to end relationships, The divine feminine in general needs to take her focus off of this relationship. She needs to focus on herself because it is not, she's not seeing movement. She's stuck at this crossroads because she's not making a decision to go one way or another. She's just allowing the things that she doesn't like, that doesn't feel good, because she's afraid of losing this opportunity. Do you want an opportunity to not feel good, or do you want to feel good? Do you want to feel love, unconditional love? So this is tough for today, divine feminine, because you really do need to choose to end this relationship in its current form, which means I can't be staying up until 2 a.m. doing nothing with my divine masculine, because that's not what I want. I wanted to go to bed around midnight beside him. So why would I do what I don't want to do? That's not loving myself. That's loving him. He has this limitation, and this is the only way to express. And I love him, and I'm allowing him to express that way to me. But it is not sufficient. It's not sufficient. So, all right. Dealing with that later. Go away, ego. Okay, divine masculine. What do you have to say for yourself? You are getting Cupid's arrow. Have faith. Love is coming. Surprise invitation or meeting. And the thing I'm drawn to the most, hesitation. And you are getting addiction, codependent, obsession, possession, controlling, as a block, as a restraint. And then we are getting the 6 of Cups upright and the 9 of Cups in reverse. So divine masculine, you need to have faith that love is coming. Right now, there's hesitation from the divine feminine because you have been codependent, obsessive, possessive, controlling. You've had a block. You've been restrained from coming into the union, from reuniting with divine feminine. And this 9 of Cups is in reverse because this is about no longer hoarding your feelings, right? We had the 9 of Cups for you here. This is about no longer hoarding your feelings, protecting your abundance from this energy that you want to reunite with. You have to have faith that this past energy that was codependent, obsessive, whatever, that your wish for that to go away, that is happening right now. You have to have that faith that love is coming and this other past energy is going away. But you are hesitating and staying in codependent, obsessive, possessive, controlling energy towards the divine feminine. And you have to release that energy. Bottom of the deck, I just want to punch you both right in the kisser. Because the bottom of your decks right now are the 10 of Hearts, 10 of Cups, Paradise, which is basically the 10 of Cups, and Flowers, which is basically the 10 of Cups. Your block is your own happiness right now. You're choosing someone else's. You're choosing your fear. Okay, so for feminine, she's afraid to hurt divine masculine's feelings by saying, babe, I can't stay with you forever on a radio station. I can't do that. I can't do it. I don't even want to. You know how many times I heard those songs in the last 2 days? It's annoying. I don't want to do it. I hate it. I hate it. I love that you pick out all these songs for me. I love that you send me these veiled messages and I feel like I'm in a labyrinth. Like, it's cool, but it's like not sustainable. It's not cool anymore, and I hate it. I want to be happy with you. And I'm pretending I'm happy because I don't want you to be afraid I'm not, but I'm not. I am not. This is not enough for me. You know it. I know it. We know it. That's why your 3 of Swords is in reverse, and you feel bad and guilty. Divine Masculine. Divine Masculine's restraint is this outside energy that's keeping him from being able to express his happiness. And he's focused on that. Divine Feminine's focused on how she doesn't feel happy because the situation's not like she wants it. And the Divine Masculine is focused on how he doesn't feel happy because the situation is not like he wants it. Instead of focusing on what's really there. The thing that kept me from being upset last night is that I know that my masculine loves me. That was it. Otherwise, I would have thrown my phone out the goddamn window and just been like, are you fucking serious? This is all? But I'm like, I know there's so much love here. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you, but I know there's a lot of love here. And so I'm going to hold this space with you for now, but it hurts me. It hurts Divine Masculine too. You both are hurting yourself by not letting yourselves have pleasure, not feeling like you're worthy of receiving it, not really understanding the true nature of the spiritual fulfillment, still thinking it's about physical fulfillment when it's not. So you still have to work on allowing yourself to receive the abundance that you have asked for. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Like I said, I'll be back on Wednesday for Obstacles Removed, and you can see me on TikTok. I'm probably going to go do a little mini message in the next hour or so. So I'll be over there. And again, I might do some live readings on TikTok. They go really fast. There's a lot of people that go into those chats. So it's kind of like just maybe it's like I'll do like an hour or so every day or every other day. So just if you're a TikTok fan, keep your eyes peeled for what I potentially might go live over there. Sorry, I don't have a schedule for you. I'm too much of a Pisces rising for that. All right. Thank you so much. I will see you again on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your day. Take care and keep the faith.